I want to talk about today is as far as why I was in Orleans Parish Jail. I was in custody for almost 8 months. All right, 6 months, something like that. I was in there for theft of a motor vehicle and domestic abuse involving strangulation. That's what I was in Orleans Parish for. Okay, but before I was in Orleans Parish, I was in a jail called St. Tammany Detention Center. All right, St. Tammany Jail here in St. Tammany Parish. There's two different parishes, Orleans and St. Tammany. Okay, today what I want to talk about is that I was on second-degree kidnapping, second-degree rape, domestic abuse battery involving strangulation, domestic abuse battery, violation of protective order, right? On this woman right here, her name is Diamond White. That's her name. This is a district attorney drop form right here. And she's not a child, she's an adult, a full adult. I was dating this woman. This is a legalized affidavit saying all allegations against me is false. All allegations against me is false. I was nowhere around her or none of that.
A fugitive on the run just stunned the world. ANTOINE Massey, still loose from the New Orleans jailbreak, posted videos on Instagram today claiming he's innocent and begging Donald Trump to step in, all as police tighten their grip. Will this daring move lead to his capture or give him a way out? Let's take a step back to where this all began. On May 16, 2025, the Orleans Justice Center in New Orleans became the scene of a jaw-dropping escape that sent shockwaves through the city. 10 inmates, some facing serious charges like murder and kidnapping, pulled off what's being called the biggest jailbreak in Louisiana history. They started by tampering with a faulty cell door in the middle of the night, then worked together to rip out a toilet and sink unit, revealing a hidden path. With a tool they somehow got their hands on, they cut through steel bars, crawled through a tight, jagged hole, and made their way to the jail's loading dock. From there, they used blankets to climb over a barbed wire fence, dodging sharp edges, and ran across Interstate 10 under the cover of darkness, disappearing into the streets of New Orleans. If you've been following our series, you know this breakout left the city reeling. 8 of those escapees have since been tracked down and hauled back to jail, but 2 men, Derek Groves and Antoine Massey, remain on the run, keeping everyone on edge. Just when we thought this story couldn't get any more intense, today brings a twist that's taken the internet by storm. Now let's get into the heart of what's unfolding right this moment. Just hours ago, on June 3, 2025, Antoine Massey, the fugitive who's been dodging authorities since that chaotic May 16th jailbreak, broke his silence in a way that's left everyone talking. The 32-year-old escapee, known for his bold moves, posted a series of videos on Instagram under the account @_007Chucky, where he stares straight into the camera and makes a startling claim. In these clips, which have spread like wildfire across the internet, Massey holds up papers he says prove his innocence, insisting he's been wrongfully accused of the charges that landed him in the Orleans Justice Center. Charges like domestic abuse involving strangulation, theft, and even kidnapping and rape from a separate case in St. Tammany Parish. But the bombshell doesn't stop there. He goes further, declaring, "I was let out," suggesting that someone inside the jail set him free, not that he broke out on his own. To top it all off, Massey reaches out to former President Donald Trump, pleading for help and asking him to intervene, a move that's turned this manhunt into a national spectacle. He's also called on rappers Lil Wayne and Meek Mill, adding a layer of celebrity intrigue to this already gripping tale. The Orleans Parish Sheriff's Office didn't waste a second responding. Late yesterday, Sheriff Susan Hudson released a statement acknowledging they've seen the videos and are working to verify if it's really Massey behind them. She's urging him to turn himself in, saying it's in his best interest to cooperate, and that doing so might help him avoid piling on more charges. But the pressure is mounting. Law enforcement isn't backing down. This manhunt, now in its 3rd week, has pulled together over 200 officers from the FBI, ATF, U.S. Marshals, Louisiana State Police, and New Orleans Police Department, all hunting for Massey and his partner in escape, Derek Groves. Just last week, on May 29th, the reward for tips leading to their capture skyrocketed to $50,000 per man. That's a combined $100,000 bounty, with the FBI and Crime Stoppers each pitching in $20,000 and the ATF adding $10,000. This jump from the initial $20,000 total per fugitive shows how desperate authorities are to end this chase. They're chasing leads across multiple states, with a recent tip sending officers to Natchez, Mississippi, where they searched with helicopters, dogs, and drones, though it turned out to be a dead end. Some believe Massey and Groves have slipped out of New Orleans, possibly changing their looks to stay under the radar, while others think they're still hiding in plain sight. The stakes couldn't be higher, and the public's role is bigger than ever. Anyone with information is urged to call 504-822-1111 and claim that life-changing reward. So what do you think? Do Massey's claims of innocence hold any weight? Or is this just a desperate act to buy himself more time on the run? To really understand what's going on here, let's dig deeper into who Antoine Massey is and why his Instagram videos are causing such a stir. Massey isn't just another fugitive. He's a man with a long history of outsmarting the system, a reputation that makes this latest move all the more intriguing. This jailbreak marks his fifth escape since 2007, starting with a breakout from juvenile detention as a teenager. In 2019, he made headlines when he and another inmate fled the Morehouse Parish Detention Center in Collinston, about 20 miles outside Monroe, Louisiana. They tore through a hole in the fence and jumped into a waiting rental car, vanishing before authorities could catch up. Massey has also been caught twice cutting off ankle monitors, showing he knows how to slip away and stay gone, and it doesn't stop there. Reports tie him to an ankle monitor scam inside the Orleans Justice Center, where he allegedly used Cash App payments to help other inmates dodge their tracking devices for profit. That kind of scheme points to someone who's not just a runner, but a planner, someone who knows how to work the angles and bend the rules to his advantage. Now let's look at the charges Massey is facing, because they tell a very different story from the innocent man he's claiming to be. In March 2025, he was arrested for domestic abuse battery involving strangulation, accused of attacking his girlfriend so brutally that he ripped braids from her scalp. But that's not all. He's also wanted in St. Tammany Parish for a separate incident from last November, where he's charged with second-degree rape, second-degree kidnapping, and more counts of domestic abuse involving strangulation, along with violating a protective order. These are heavy, violent allegations that paint a picture of a dangerous man, not someone who's been wrongfully accused, as he claims in those Instagram videos. Yet Massey insists he's changed, saying in his posts, "Who I was in the past is not who I am today." While calling the jail system corrupt and waving around papers, he says back up his story. It's a bold defense for a man on the run, but it raises the question, is there any truth to it? Or is this all a calculated distraction? Let's circle back to how Massey and 9 others pulled off this escape in the first place, because the details reveal just how deep this story goes. On May 16th, in the early hours at the Orleans Justice Center, the group started by tampering with a cell door that was already known to be faulty, a glaring security flaw that's been a problem at the jail for years. They got their hands on a tool, though investigators still haven't said what kind or how they got it, and used it to cut through steel bars in a pipe chase. From there, they ripped out a toilet and sink unit, creating a jagged hole in the wall just big enough to crawl through. They made their way to the jail's loading dock, where they used blankets to scale a barbed wire fence, scraping past the sharp edges, and then bolted across Interstate 10, disappearing into the night. We've talked before about how this wasn't just a lucky break. There was help from the inside. Maintenance worker Sterling Williams, a civilian employee at the jail, has already been arrested and charged with malfeasance in office and 10 counts of being a principal to simple escape. Williams told investigators that Massey threatened to shank him if he didn't shut off the water to that cell, a move that made it easier to remove the toilet and open the escape route. But Massey, in his Instagram videos, calls Williams a liar, saying he never made that threat. That contradiction adds another layer of mystery. Who's telling the truth here? So far, 13 people have been arrested for helping the escapees, including Massey's girlfriend, who's been charged as an accessory after the fact. This web of accomplices shows just how far-reaching this breakout was And it makes you wonder how many more might still be out there, helping Massey and Groves stay one step ahead. The internet has been buzzing since Massey's videos dropped, and the reactions are all over the place. Some people online are shocked that a fugitive would be so brazen as to go public while on the run, filming himself in what looks like a bare room, speaking straight to the camera with a handheld device. Others are questioning whether there might be some truth to his claims of innocence, pointing to his mention of a corrupt system and those papers he's waving around. But plenty of folks are calling it a stunt, a desperate attempt to throw off the authorities or maybe even rally public support. It's hard to ignore the irony. Massey's videos might be giving law enforcement the very clues they need to track him down, especially if he's still posting while on the move. So what do you make of Massey's appeal to Donald Trump and celebrities like Lil Wayne, Meek Mill, and NBA YoungBoy? Is this a genius move to gain sympathy and maybe even legal help? Or is it a reckless act of desperation that's about to backfire? Now let's step back and look at the bigger picture this case is painting. A story that goes far beyond just one fugitive's bold move. Antoine Massey's decision to go public with those Instagram videos could turn this manhunt upside down. But the real question is how it all plays out. On one side, those videos might be a gift to the police, handing them a trail to follow. If Massey's still posting from wherever he's hiding, maybe a cheap motel room or a friend's basement, those posts could reveal his location through metadata or even give away clues in the background. Authorities have already used social media to track down other fugitives, and with over 200 officers from the FBI, ATF, U.S. Marshals, and Louisiana State Police combing the region, they're likely analyzing every frame. But flip that coin, and Massey's claims of being let out could crack open a deeper scandal. He's hinting that someone inside the Orleans Justice Center orchestrated his escape, not just that he forced his way out. We've already uncovered Sterling Williams, the maintenance worker who admitted to shutting off the water after Massey threatened him, and a civilian employee who stepped away to grab food, leaving the pod unguarded during the breakout. What if there are more players behind the scenes, guards, supervisors, or even higher-ups who turned a blind eye? The jail's own records show a pattern of neglect, and Massey's accusation could be the key to exposing it. The Orleans Justice Center itself is a ticking time bomb, a facility that's been struggling for years. Since 2013, it's been under a federal consent decree after a judge ruled its conditions, overcrowding, violence, and poor sanitation, were unconstitutional. Today, it's running at just 60% staffing, meaning there aren't enough guards to watch every move, and many of the locks on cell doors are so worn they can be jimmied open with a little effort. The surveillance cameras are outdated, leaving blind spots where inmates can plot without being seen. And there's no high security unit for violent offenders, like Massey and Groves, who were housed in a regular pod. Sheriff Susan Hudson has taken a hit for this. She's paused her re-election campaign, standing before the city council to admit security checks failed and promising to overhaul training and fix the broken systems. But Governor Jeff Landry isn't letting her off easy. He's ordered a full audit of the jail, calling it a disgrace and pointing to her progressive policies as the root of the problem, pushing for tougher measures to restore order. The tension between them is palpable in the press conferences, with Landry demanding accountability and Hudson scrambling to prove she can turn things around. Then there's the bigger question hanging over this case. Is this escape part of a larger criminal network? Massey's past ties to an ankle monitor scam, where he allegedly profited by helping others evade tracking, suggests he's got connections and know-how that go beyond a solo act. Could he have allies outside the jail, people who helped him cut those steel bars or provided the getaway car after he scaled that fence? The arrest of 13 accomplices, including his girlfriend charged as an accessory, hints at a support system that's still active. Meanwhile, public fear is at an all-time high. Residents in New Orleans are locking their doors tighter, and 2 prosecutors who worked on Derrick Groves' murder case have fled the city with their families, terrified he might come after them for revenge. With a $100,000 reward now on the table, the pressure is crushing and the stakes are life or death. So here's the big question. Is the Orleans Justice Center doomed to see another disaster like this breakout, with its crumbling infrastructure and staffing shortages? Or can it be turned around with enough effort and money, What do you think? Could this jail ever be secure again, or are we just waiting for the next escape? This incredible story is far from over, and we're committed to bringing you every shocking twist and turn with our daily true crime videos. So hit that subscribe button right now to stay in the loop and catch the next update on whether Antoine Massey and Derek Groves are finally brought back behind bars. If Massey's bold plea on Instagram left you stunned, smash that like button to show your support and drop a comment below. Where do you think he's hiding out right now? In a crowded city or a quiet back road? We've got a poll up for you to vote. Will Massey be caught by June 10th? Yes or no? If you're in or around New Orleans, please stay cautious. Report any sightings or tips to Crime Stoppers at 504-822-1111, where a massive $100,000 reward is still waiting for the right tip to crack this case wide open. Don't miss a second of this unfolding drama. Stick with Crime Scene for the next big break that could change everything.